You're watching the Insert Name Here show. Oh, by the way, that's the name of our show. It's the Insert Name Here show. Cool. Clever, isn't it?
It is very clever. I like that name.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're here with a special guest, Doug. Douglas? Yes. Doug? Mr. Holgate?
I use Douglas when I have things published. Most people call me Doug. You can call me Doug.
Oh, okay.
My friends call me Doug.
Excellent. I feel so privileged.
Yes.
Well, Doug,
you don't have to use that extra syllable like everyone else.
I won't waste my breath on that syllable.
That's right.
I just want to say, Doug, this is a family-friendly show.
Yep.
We just interviewed Tristan Jones before,
and
so
he swore up a storm.
Yeah,
I heard it.
He put the F in WTF. So
he did.
I just want you to know it's a family-friendly show.
Yeah, I'm a family-friendly artist.
Yeah, you certainly
yes.
are. Well, you are a family-friendly artist, Doug.
Yes.
Because I look around and you've got some kids.
Yeah, predominantly I work for, they call it all ages, but it probably is all ages because adults can read it as well, but predominantly for kids. And
so tell us a bit about you, because I see you quite a bit, and I know you through mutual friends now.
Yes, yeah.
Who shall remain nameless.
Who shall remain nameless
for now. But so, what drew you into the world of illustrating, as Tristan would say?
Illustrating. I guess it's probably the same story as every person here who draws. Been doing it since I was a kid. I used to read comics when I was a kid, cartoon magazine. Like I spent some time in the UK, so I was reading weekly.
What were you doing in the UK? Is just
my dad got a job working for Rolls-Royce of all places. So he's an engineer. So we moved to the UK for 5 years, and I was reading like kids' weekly comics like Beano and Dennis the Menace and stuff like that. And then Asterix, Tintin. It's always just been a part of my
childhood. The way you grew
childhood.
Up.
But
cartoons were a big part of your life?
I was actually denied Saturday cartoons by my parents. So
that's a travesty.
Yeah, well, it's about funny because when we moved back from the UK, we moved to Canberra, and on the radio you used to be able to pick up television signal, like because there was only two channels. There was channel 2 and channel 7, and you used to be able to pick up channel 7 on the radio on like FM or AM or something, and so I would tune in my radio and listen to cartoons.
Yeah, this is probably blowing the heads of those kids at home.
Yeah,
that we have two channels, and you can tune to get to those.
The radio, analog. So I used to listen to cartoons. So I was kind of denied cartoons when I was really young, but I'd sneak across to the next door neighbours and watch sort of things like that.
Oh, how sneaky!
But it's always been...
If I told you the things that I got to, had to sneak in, next door or like under my bed.
The mean streets of Canberra where I was sneaking away to watch cartoons. It's just always been a part of my life, and even when I studied illustration at university. It was a very dry, scientific illustration, and I did a...
So this is really something you always aspire to some degree?
Yeah, and I think I've always known that I was going to do something with it. I wasn't quite sure what, and I guess through that journey I've evolved and always just come back to cartoons and comics. So even when I was doing this very dry visual arts course and doing scientific illustration of like insects and birds and flowers, I ended up doing a postgraduate degree, and I did a year of paleontology. And so I got to draw dinosaurs. So always trying to kind of like, I guess, dovetail in, cartoony stuff.
Well, it certainly shows with your style. I mean, we see animals, dinosaurs. So you're a big fan of the animal kingdom?
Yeah, I suppose. It's probably the thing that I find the easiest to draw.
Easiest to draw? I hear many artists struggle with animals.
Yeah, see, I find that really weird because I am like, what do you mean you can't draw a horse? You just do that and then you do that and then you're fine, you got a horse. I can't draw, I can draw them, but I struggle with mechanical things.
Mechanical things?
Like robots.
So no Transformers commissions?
No Transformers commissions, unless you want a very organic looking Transformer. But I can draw them. It's just not something that I find very comfortable.
Yeah.
So animals, organic things like trees.
Do you have any particular? I'm putting you on the spot here, asking you the tough questions.
Tough.
Do you have a favorite animal?
Yes, it's an African animal, and it's called the kudu.
Spell it, so that everyone can Google it at home.
Kudu, and they're like a giant antelope, and they're sort of quite prehistoric looking, giant kind of curled horns.
Wow.
They're probably like a deer, like an antelope. They're sort of just a giant, as tall as a moose sort of thing. So, yeah, I'd say a kudu and probably raccoons.
Raccoons?
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Are they not considered pests?
Well, they are. I was in Toronto like 6 weeks ago for the Toronto Comic Art Festival, and there are raccoons all over Toronto. So much so that they have bins that are meant to be raccoon-proof, but are not.
Are they Douglas-proof?
As I discovered, they're not Douglas-proof. Well, maybe they were. I didn't try. There's like a latch. But no. So the Toronto government, local government, city council, basically developed these bins that were meant to be raccoon-proof, and they did this big launch, spent millions of dollars on these bins, and within a week of them launching, people are like, yeah, they're not raccoon-proof, you guys. So now they develop it. Anyway, They are a pest, but they are pretty...
Very clever by the sound of it.
Yeah, I just find them... They got personality. That's cool.
Well, so we have Maralinga, which I think was the most recent published piece, is that right?
Self-published.
Give us the pitch.
The pitch is that the...
this is all you need to know. It's a good book.
It's a good book.
Anything else you want to add to that?
Post-apocalyptic, set in Melbourne, 300 years in the future after a nuclear cataclysm in which the nuclear tests in South Australia in the 50s basically go horribly wrong. So the whole east coast of Australia is a wasteland. And we meet our protagonist, who's a young girl who's living in a village in the south of Melbourne. And she's basically a hero's journey. She's got to go out into the wastes to basically try and rescue her village. There's monsters. The Australia's kind of evolved into prehistoric life and things like that. So
Evil, very, very clever.
Akira versus Nausicaa, basically.
Nice.
To give you the two movie pitch. I can't remember what they call that.
Post-apocalyptic, whatever.
Yeah.
Science fiction meets this and that.
Yes.
And something's amiss at the zoo. I mean, that's touching on your love of animals.
It is, and it's
animal puns.
It's a kid's book, but it's also a comic. We very deliberately tricked the book publisher into publishing a comic for us.
You're a slippery one.
I'm a slippery one, and it's a kid's book. It's for 6-year-olds, and it's pretty fun. It's very funny. It still makes me laugh.
So where can we see this? What are you working on at the moment? Is this? Can you tell us what you're working on? Are we going to get an exclusive? We're looking for exclusives.
An exclusive?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well,
make something up. Let's get some people.
It's probably not super exclusive because I've probably talked a little bit briefly about it online, but. I'm doing some work for Boom Comics at the moment on their regular show comic.
Okay.
So the cartoon series regular show cover and a short story, and the main thing I'm working on is the first book in a 3-book series for Scholastic Graphics in the US called Clem Hetherington and the Ironwood Race.
That's a bit of a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. And you want the pitch on that? It's basically Wacky Races meets Indiana Jones.
Wacky Races?
Yes. Cartoons. Saturday cartoons.
Those cartoons which you were deprived.
That's right.
You're really showing mum and dad what
I know,
a rebel
take
you
that.
are. Dark. You're a bad boy. Okay, well, where can we find you online? You're active on Twitter, Instagram.
I'm Douglas Bot on Twitter.
Whoa, Douglas Bot. The guy who doesn't like machinery.
Well, yeah, that's right. I like robots. There's a robot in my graphic novel, which is, and a lot of vehicles as well.
So you're struggling for your art by this.
I am.
You're
tough.
really putting yourself out there.
It's a real struggle.
Douglas Bot on Instagram.
And Twitter. And my website is www.skullduggery.com.au.
Skullduggery. That doesn't sound very family friendly, but check it out. I think we just bumped up your hit count with that little pot.
There's a spike. Already there's a spike. This hasn't even gone live and there's already
exactly. I can feel it. Well, before we go, Doug, who's your favorite James Bond?
My favourite James Bond.
Yeah. Let's get controversial
Let's
here.
get controversial. I actually really like Daniel Craig, but George Lazenby.
Ah,
Yeah.
wow.
Majesty's
That is
Secret
controversial.
Service. I don't. Well, mate, I think it is controversial in that not many people like.
It's because he wore the kilt.
That
I think
film.
that was is the kilt.
I think he's the best James Bond. He's a bit of a, he's
You know what-
rough around the edges.
You know what I'll say
and-
about George Lazenby as James Bond?
Yeah.
He threw a very unconvincing uppercut. You know, when you watch those action scenes, they're very unconvincing.
Yeah. No, I should probably watch it again. But I do have some funny.
You probably don't want to watch
I do have some funny gossip about that
Go
because
on.
Diana Rigg and George Lazenby did not get along at all. So much so that before the kissing scenes in the movie, she would actually eat cloves of garlic before making out with him.
That's
So,
just
you know.
mean.
But no, I really like the Daniel Craig ones. But I'm a Sean Connery boy at heart. He was the one I was going.
Good answer. Good answer. Well, Doug, Mr. Holgate, thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
And I will need to speak to you about some work later on, but we can
Oh,
do
cool.
that off camera.
We'll do that off camera. Let's do
Thank you
that.
again, Doug. And can you look down the
Cheers.
camera and just say for us?
You're watching the Insert Name Here show. Quokkas are the best. Hang on. Quokkas are the best animals. They're pretty
How
cool.
spontaneous. Thanks again, Doug. Keep watching. We'll have more stuff to come, guys.
Thank you. See ya.